Okay, so I'm going to very quickly show you how to complete shading in between two functions as well. For that purpose, we want to be able to match lines right here on the mouth. The first thing I'm going to do is add my horizontal line to match the top of the mouth. Now I want to be able to constrain that so that it is just a part of a line. I'm going to try to go from negative 0.4, and I'm constraining the x values since I want to cut my horizontal line to 0.4. That looks pretty good. I'm going to extend the line just a little bit by making that interval bigger. So if you look, if I zoom in on the picture, I probably should be extending a little bit more on the right-hand side, but remember, I'm trying to keep my graph symmetrical. If I keep it symmetrical, my whole process is going to be so much easier. So I'm going to ignore the picture underneath. That's okay. Next, I'm going to match the bottom part of her mouth. To do that, I need a parabola, so I start by adding y is equal to x squared. Once I have that parabola, I know I want to shift it up. And I can estimate the value on the bottom of the mouth is a little bit more than 3. So I'm going to add 3.2. That was too much, 3.1. That looks like a really decent match of the bottom of the mouth. However, it does not curve as much as I need it to, so I need to make my parabola skinnier. If I want to do that, in front of the x value, I would multiply by a number. In this case, it would have to be a larger number. Looks like 2 works. Perfect. Well, I definitely want to cut the parabola, so I'm only using the values that are underneath the line. So in my curly brackets, I'm going to say all the y values that are less than or equal to 3.6. And the 3.6 is the value that I used in the equation right above, right? Next, I want to do her tongue. The tongue, I can still use a parabola, but it would have to be facing downward. So I'm going to do y is equal to x squared. The vertex of this parabola needs to go up to almost 3.5. So I'm going to add like 3.4. And afterwards, I want to invert it by adding negative in front of the x squared. That looks like a really good match. So this can represent my tongue. Now I need to cut the parabola. I am cutting the red parabola where it meets the black parabola. In that case, I want to copy the equation for the black parabola for the outside of the mouth, and then I'm going to paste it in as a constraint of the tongue. Now I need to change that into an inequality. So I want all the y values that are greater than or equal to the mouth. And now my tongue has shown on here. Next, how can we do the shading? Well, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and hide the picture. This does look really decent for her head. Even though it might not match all the perfect lines from the picture, when you remove the picture, it looks really good. If you click on the gearing wheel up top, then you can change all the colors for your lines. So I want her jawline. I'm going to change that jawline to actually be orange. I'm going to change the head to be black color. It should be brown, but black will work. And then the same thing with the bangs. I'm going to make those black. I normally try to leave those lines, color changes for the very end. It makes it a little bit easier for me this way to distinguish between each of the functions. So now I have the mouth in black. I have the tongue in orange. I needed the tongue to be red though. So I went back and changed the very last parabola to be in red. The jawline is what was supposed to be orange. I'm going to change that very quickly. Okay, good. So if I select my parabola for the tongue, I want to shade everything underneath. So if I select the equation and I make that into an inequality. Now I have shading. This shading is enclosed between two curves. I have everything shaded below the parabola that I'm graphing, and I have it constrained with another parabola. So this is the type of shading that you would have to complete. In addition, you can also add shading for your circles. So let's say for the eyes, we can add an equation. I'm going to copy one of my parabola equations so I can adjust that to match the eyes. The eyes have to be pretty narrow, so I'm going to do 0.2 squared, 0.2 wide. I know that my eyes are going to be at the 4 line, and for the first eye I'm going to shift to the right by 1, so that'll be -1. It looks like I do need that to be a little bit wider. There we go, that is a really good match. So once I have my eye matched to the way that I like it, I would change that into an inequality. Instead of equals to 1, change that into less than or equal to 1, and it is shaded. To copy this eye over to the other side, select your equation, Control-C copy, Control-V paste it. I want the same size eye, but I needed the x value instead of -1, instead of being on the positive side, I need it to go to negative side. So instead of x minus 1.1, I need x plus 1.1. And there goes the eye. It is already translated to the other side. Good luck. Any questions you have, just please send me a link to your Desmos and I can try to help. Once again, this is how you send the link. Right next to your name in the top right corner, you have that share graph button. So you can copy the link, hit copy. This will copy it onto your clipboard and then go ahead and send me a question. You can also export image. You can take a screenshot of this. Just make sure that you do include a picture with your question and I can assist you.